Hello, friends, and welcome back to Malicious Compliance Stories. Today's story is an absolute wild ride in the hospital drama department. We've got a patient with a major case of entitlement and a doctor who handles it like a boss. But before we begin, best way to support our channel is to leave comments, like, and subscribe with the turned-on bell so you don't miss the new video every single day. Here we go. I actually do work here. Context: I work in a hospital. Also context: I have a baby face and I'm short. On any given day, I can be mistaken for a high school student playing dress-up, so I don't really begrudge people for mistaking me for a volunteer. Unless you're mean. It's a weekend and I'm scheduled to work 28 hours. In my hospital, our staff are pretty distinctive. Nurses wear white, surgical staff wear blue, and techs other staff wear black. I'm wearing the baggy surgical scrubs to be as comfortable as possible while in hell. I'm rushing around trying to see to my patients and stop by to say hi to a few nurses I recognize. We chat a little and one asks me where I'm going. I mention the patient room and they give each other looks, bad sign number 1, before looking at me and assuring they'd check in, bad sign number 2. I thank them, then I dip into the patient room. Me: hi. Patient, visibly irritated: about time you came in. I'm done with my food. Me: okay, do you want me to clear that tray for you? Patient looks at me like a dumb butt. Well, I'm done with it, aren't I? All right then. Grumpy guy, whatever, it happens. I go to move the tray and notice his wife sitting in a chair by his bed. She's looking apologetic to me and moves to take the tray, but I wave her off and settle it to the side. Me: hi, I'm... Patient: I need to go to the bathroom. Me: okay, I can come back if you'd like. Patient, again looking at me like I'm a dumb butt: I need to go to the bathroom. Me: sir, you're welcome to use the restroom. I can come back when you're done. Patient: this place is ridiculous. You aren't even going to help me? I'm out of major surgery and you can't help me up and pee? Me, pulling out my patient list, more for show than anything else because I have it memorized. This bee had finger surgery in his non-dominant hand. He has one completely unwrapped hand and his legs work fine. According to my record, sir, you passed your physical therapy yesterday and have unlimited ability to get in and out of bed and move on your own. However, I also can provide a urinal for you if you'd like. Patient yelling: this is effing ridiculous. I just had major surgery. I'm in effing pain. You just want me to lie in my own effing pee? You should be effing helping me. Hold my effing D like a good girl and effing help me pee. At this point, I see a few nurses duck their head in to check on me, but I wave them off. This dude needs an ego check. Me: sir, that's a highly inappropriate request. If you want assistance with your needs, we'll provide it, but we will not tolerate being verbally harassed. Patient: I'm not effing listening to some effing nurse tell me what to effing do. You effing do what your effing job is. Patient's wife: she's not a nurse. Patient: I don't effing care what she effing is. I'm not effing listening to your effing bullcrap if you won't effing help me. I don't effing want to see you ever again. Me: just to confirm, sir, that you don't want to see me? Patient: did I effing stutter? I said effing go away, little girl. I want a new nurse. At this point, his nurse steps into the room with hospital security, the kind who are built like NFL linebackers, respond to psych issues, and have handcuffs. Nurse: Dr. OP, I called security out of concern for staff safety. Security officer: are you okay? Do you require assistance? Me: no, but I would like you two to witness for me that the patient would no longer require our services and pain management will sign off now per patient insistence. I'll alert a surgery team. Nurse and security officer nods. Nurse makes a note in her papers. Patient is now visibly buffering as he's processing. Patient loading, probs at like 50%. Wait, doctor? With pain management? Me: yes, I'm the pain management doctor. Your team wanted me to see you to assess your post-operative pain, but I understand that we're not needed. I'll let your team know. Patient, anger downloaded: you could have effing told me. You're effing leaving? I want a new pain doc. Me, smiling serenely: sir, it's the weekend. I am the only pain management doctor. And as 2 other witnesses have noted, you fired me from your care. Good day. I go off on my merry way as this guy starts going ballistic. It's not standard for the pain service to be asked to see a hand surgery, but I did it as a favor to the orthopedic surgeon since the patient is quoting the surgeon, a little bee about his finger pain. I asked the nurse to let me know what happens when the patient realizes I'm the only one in the whole hospital who can write for high-dose narcotics that he keeps demanding. The audacity of the patient is jaw-dropping. Hit that like button if you've ever dealt with a challenging customer, and remember to subscribe for more unbelievable tales. And our second story. No, you cannot reach me on a cell phone. I had a pretty good tech support job in the late 90s at a cool place to work. Since we had an on-call rotation, we had some nice perks. The company paid for a second phone line. Yeah, dial-up modems were still a thing. They also paid up to X dollars a month toward a cell phone or provided a company cell phone. The only constant thing is change. The company was bought up by a large conglomerate. As the Borg assimilated us, they announced they would no longer pay for personal cell phones and company ones would only be given to those at the manager level or above. As an aside, how stupid is that? Determine who gets a tool by status rather than the usefulness of the tool to the job? The rationale was that everyone has a cell phone nowadays and incidental use for company business should not be a burden. We grumbled, but it was still a cool place to work, so most people went along. Most people, but not Bob. At first, when they collected everyone's contact number, meaning personal cell phone number, Bob gave them his desk phone number. Of course, emergency calls after hours went to voicemail. Typically, the operations center would call his home number next and usually get him. It took them a couple of on-call rotations to figure out that they didn't have his cell number. After a round of emails asking for it was ignored, he was summoned into the director's office and asked for it. He explained why he felt it was unfair that the company used his asset without reimbursement. He was told it would only be used for emergency incidental use and was a condition of employment. He reluctantly gave it up. Then came the malicious part. Cell phones were pretty basic at that time, talk and text, really simple games. Most of the smarts were in the network. Bob found for an extra $2 per month, his phone line could block callers or send them directly to voicemail. Bob paid the $2 and set the company's outbound caller ID number to go directly to voicemail. When Bob was not on call, he turned off the audio alert for voicemail, and the only indication was a little envelope icon on the phone's 1.5-inch screen. On call, he got the alert, but only called back if he was away from home. Otherwise, he waited for the call on his landline. He said it was the best $2 a month he'd spent. I left a year later, and Bob was still enjoying his cell phone on his terms. By the way, in 2021 dollars, a cell phone ran $1,000 and monthly service $60 to $100. Not that different from today, but the job paid $40,000 to $50,000 then, and you got a limited number of talk minutes and texts for your $60. And now most people just send calls from unknown numbers to voicemail because they don't need an extended warranty for their vehicle that doesn't cover what the salesperson says it will. And our last story. Corrupted HOA. I moved into my development out in the boonies back in December. After just saying F it because my wife and I were tired of homes going under contract as we were walking in the front door, or we'd like a place only to have our realtor look and find out there was a multi-way bidding war happening and the latest offer was already $50,000 to $100,000 over our budget. We got a new construction house right at the top of our budget. Things seemed reasonable, maybe too reasonable. First, the HOA docs we got were definitely just a template some lawyer copy and pasted and just did a find and replace on. We have no community pool or playground, no parking lots, no little parks. And then the management company didn't even bother to collect our dues. Then in March, we got a new management company. Turns out it's a two-person management company of a realtor, for state licensing requirement, and the property manager. They're nice people, but I'm not sure why we even need them. We're a 17-house subdivision. And this is where things get interesting. They sent out a follow-up letter with the names of the board members. I go hunting on GIS and find out which house they are. More on this in a second. My wife and I run out for errands, and on our way back, we see a guy mowing the front common area where the sign is, and that's it. But there's no truck or anything else nearby. My wife joked that this is what $1,000 a year pays for. I mentioned I thought the guy looked like one of our neighbors, as I'm sure I've seen that mower before. Sure enough, a little while later, the mower comes down the street and goes into the neighbor's driveway and parks behind his truck, and he goes in the house. I go back on GIS and find out it's our HOA VP. That's a huge conflict of interest, as according to the bylaws, The board is unpaid unless the majority of the homeowners vote a provision for the board to be paid. Second, we have a $1,000 line item on the budget for lawn maintenance, so I candidly asked our management company for a list of vendors and invoices so I could see where the budget was getting its numbers from. I can't wait to see what I'm provided. As I was also reviewing the bylaws, I also found that while the board terms are 1 year, the president and vice president seats are voted on by a 3-person board. The only position that's actually voted on by the homeowners is the secretary, which means a president and vice president can just keep electing themselves to the board, or the vice president and secretary can elect a buddy in the subdivision. We've also noticed that the president and vice president have the most HOA violations. The VP has an unfinished shed in his backyard. The president has a basketball hoop in the road. Our rules say they are not allowed in the road and must be in a lot's driveway. His kids' bikes are left out by the road. His garbage cans are always left out at the end of the road. Both let their dogs run around unrestricted, no fence or invisible fence, and the rules also say that any animal outside needs to be under the control of a responsible person. I'd hardly consider a 4-year-old responsible. Basically, I'm tired of paying fees when there's a sea of violations around me. As much as I loathe and hate HOAs, we all agreed to the rules when we bought our homes, so I believe that, love them or hate them, we all need to follow the rules or we all need to vote and dissolve the HOA. But since there's money involved, I doubt the latter will happen. So instead, I'm documenting everything carefully, and when the time comes, I'm going to dump a giant complaint on the department within my state that's responsible for HOAs. My wife and I were already planning on selling our house and moving to a place with better schools in a few years when our kid reaches school age. I'm already counting the days. Effing hate these corrupt, privatized governments from hell. Sounds like they have it set up so the board can't be taken over by enforcers. If they aren't sending out violation notices, you effectively don't have much of an HOA beyond getting the grass cut. Cozy. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.